Well, welcome back. The Biden administration asking the Supreme Court to end Title 42 next Tuesday, so after Christmas, after 19 state attorneys general requested to keep the Trump-era policy in place. Of course, it was supposed to be lifted today. The White House writing, quote, "The solution to that immigration problem cannot be to extend indefinitely a public health measure that all now acknowledge has outlived its public health justification." Joining me right now is Texas Congressman and House Appropriations Committee member Tony Gonzales. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. And I made the point earlier that, sure, they could talk about Title 42 being a health care measure during the pandemic, but what's the excuse for remain in Mexico?
That's right. Good morning, Maria. Thank you for having me on. Their excuse, they need to re-implement the Remain in Mexico policy, and not just in words, in action. As a matter of fact, they need to look at the previous administration. They need to look at Trump's border policies that worked. There's other programs as well, to include the PACER program, HARP. These are things that worked. Every administration has had to deal with this crisis. To say that Title 42 goes away, I agree with that, but now's not the moment to do that. Also, if you're going to do away with the last policy that is actually enforcing any immigration laws at all, you better have a good plan on what comes next. And the reality is this administration has no plan, and we've seen the results of that over and over again.
Well, I mean, just last Sunday, the number of people in El Paso was just stunning. 1,000 people. El Paso seeing an explosion of illegal migrant encounters ahead of the end of Title 42. Texas Governor Greg Abbott sent 500 state National Guard troops there to beef up security to El Paso. Congressman, you've seen the migrant surge in El Paso firsthand, of course. You took this video of a Border Patrol processing center there last Friday. This video is incredible that you took. This is a facility that's supposed to house 1,000 people. They've got almost 5,000 people jammed in it. Tell us what you saw.
Yeah, and you know, Maria, that was 5 days ago, and honestly, nothing has changed. I'm a little frustrated. As a member of Congress, it's not my job to be taking videos and leaking it out as if this is North Korea. I mean, it's honestly, the media has a function there. The reality is the Biden administration is preventing media, any media, from entering into these facilities and just telling the ground truth. That is dangerous. In our society, our media has a oversight function, if you will, and so that certainly needs to change. I wanted to show people firsthand, untapped, does this look like a humane and orderly process? So, you know, I got an update last night in El Paso. There's still over 4,000 migrants in that facility. They're getting over 2,000 every day. They're now releasing over 1,300 into the streets in El Paso. El Paso's at capacity. The El Paso city is now using some of its school facilities to house migrants, the convention center. Wow. There's been some talk of using the military base, Fort Bliss there. I'm against that, because once you get into the migrant business, you don't get out of it. There's some rumblings that it looks like the military is not going to get involved. But these are the type of impacts that these failed Biden policies have caused.
Well, we got in there. We got into the Donna facility, and I was able to shoot some video myself. What I saw was horrendous. People behind cages waiting to get processed. This is obviously not a long-term solution. James.
Yeah, Congressman James Freeman here at the Wall Street Journal. Obviously, this program has been on this story for a long time. You've been talking about this. Now you are starting to see other media, when they're allowed, when they have access, to get interested in this. You're seeing Kyrsten Sinema in the Senate saying this is a problem. Democratic mayors. Do you think possibly this is becoming a problem the White House can no longer ignore, or do you think they just go right on and no progress this Congress?
No, I think it's a problem they can't ignore. And look, there's 435 members of Congress. Everybody has a different style. My style has always been to try to find unity and how do you bring people together, because anyone that sees these photos goes, this is wrong. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. If you live along the border, you're living this hell. So you certainly know it's wrong. You know, I'll remind everyone, you know, almost 2 years ago now, I hosted Kevin McCarthy in El Paso. And what came out of that initial visit, it's the very beginning of the Biden border crisis, was these people coming over on the terrorist watch list. And Kevin McCarthy gets up and says that, and Democrats say, no, you're lying, you're just trying to create rhetoric. And it turns out 2 years later, there's been over 100 people on the terrorist watch list that have come over. So it's a national security threat. It's a humanitarian crisis, not to mention the economic impact. $138 billion gets traded over the ports there in El Paso. You shut some of these bridges down, and that impacts everybody.
That's incredible. I want to get your take on this omnibus, this massive $1.7 trillion spending bill. They want to sign it into law to avert a government shutdown, but Kentucky Congressman James Comer was on this program yesterday. He's got some problems, and he outlined some of the more alarming parts to this bill. Watch this.
This is an agency that's out of control, and the most frustrating thing for me right now, Maria, is the fact that in this omnibus bill, there's increased funding for the FBI plus a $1.75 billion headquarters facility for the FBI. We need to halt everything with the FBI, all funding, until they come forward and explain to Congress exactly what they were doing, why they were doing it, and who gave them the authority to do it.
So, Congressman, I mean, what's this about? Here we are every day talking about this collusion between the FBI and social media. The fact that they tried to change a presidential election twice now, the FBI did, and yet we're going to give them $1.5 billion to get a new spanking brand new headquarters. And what about the money that they claim is going to the border? Where is that money going, Congressman?
Yeah, Maria, I spent 20 years in the intelligence community, and it absolutely kills me to see what is happening, where politics has seeped into all our different agencies. It shouldn't be that way. It should go back to where the agencies are fighting for the American people, not a party or politicians. And we need to get back to that. You know, one of the things that Kevin McCarthy has mentioned is holding hearings at the border. I think this is very critical. If the Intelligence Committee can hold a hearing at the border, maybe in El Paso, to highlight, hey, where are these terrorists, these folks on the terrorist watch list going? How does that bring us together? As far as the omnibus, we have seen how Democrats are governing, and they're failing America in every aspect. Jamming through a 4,000-page bill days before, it's just completely wrong in all aspects of it. We knew from the beginning, being in the minority, that we were never going to get a border security bill.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's more than just Democrats. You've got Republicans in the Senate who are going along with it and claiming that they're getting what they want here in this monstrosity. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Maria.